Welcome to Rakuten. We hope you enjoy this video presentation of Rakuten's consolidated financial results for the third quarter of 2015. Let's start with the highlights of our results. Here are the highlights of the third quarter. We delivered another strong quarter of growth, with non-GAAP operating income up 13.3% year-on-year. Fintech is the new name of our Internet Finance segment from this quarter, reflecting the technology-driven nature of our financial businesses. Fintech operating income grew 16.3% year-on-year. From this third quarter, we are also widening our definition of domestic e-commerce to include Rakuten Travel and other e-commerce-related services to align with our growing ecosystem and our open e-commerce platform. Finally, we are pleased to announce that our global ebook business, including Kobo, Overdrive, and Aquafadas, delivered its first quarterly EBITDA profit in the third quarter. Here is a summary of our financial results. Consolidated revenue grew by 23.8% year-on-year, maintaining top-line growth over 20%. Non-GAAP operating income was up by 13.3% year-on-year. IFRS operating income was down 2.4% year-on-year due to 2.8 billion yen head office moving costs in the third quarter. Looking at the details by segment. Domestic e-commerce, including Rakuten Travel, achieved steady 10% year-on-year growth in both revenue and operating income. Other internet services showed another year-on-year shrinkage in operating losses, as our global ebook business is now in the black, whilst we control investments at other new businesses. Fintech operating income grew by 16.3% year-on-year. The other segment saw a 0.9 billion yen loss in the third quarter of 2015, following aggressive marketing for Rakuten Mobile in Japan and ongoing investments at Viber. Here is a slide showing reconciliation between IFRS operating income and non-GAAP operating income. Amortization of intangible assets and stock-based compensation grew year-on-year due to recent acquisitions, whilst we had 2.8 billion yen other one-off items related to our head office moving to our new building in Futako Tamagawa. At other internet services, we cut operating losses by 0.8 billion yen year-on-year, with our global ebook business now in the black and ongoing investments in other promising areas. Our global ebook business turnaround was achieved in 3 years after our acquisition of Kobo, during which time the business has seen rapid expansion and investment, new management in 2014 that reorganized Kobo to focus on both ROI and growth, and the addition of Overdrive earlier this year, which is now working closely with Kobo to pursue synergies and work together to grow within the global ebook industry. Total domestic gross transaction value hit nearly 1.9 trillion yen, up by 20.9% year-on-year, led by Edi, Rakuten Point Card, and Rakuten Card. Domestic e-commerce, including Rakuten Travel and other internet services, grew by 12.6% year-on-year. Moving on to our fintech businesses. Rakuten Card revenue grew by over 20% year-on-year, and operating income by nearly 12% year-on-year to 5.3 billion yen. Rakuten Card is preparing for the next stage of growth as we aim to become the #1 credit card company in Japan. Operating income growth was slower than revenue growth due to aggressive joint marketing with Ichiba, targeting loyal customers of our e-commerce services to increase their spending on Rakuten Card, as we aim to become the #1 credit card company at the earliest timing. Shopping transaction value hit 1.05 trillion yen in the third quarter, up by over 20% year-on-year, whilst revolving balances as of end September surpassed 300 billion yen for a growth rate also around 20% year-on-year. The success of our focus on campaigns targeting loyal members during the third quarter can be seen in the data of recent months, showing the proportion of Ichima GMS paid for by a Rakuten credit card, which jumped from 40.5% in July to 43.5% in September. Rakuten Card launched Rakuten Super Business Loan Express recently for Rakuten Ichiba merchants. The process of online application to loan execution and deposit of funds can be completed in as little as 1 day. Rakuten Bank was again a strong performer, with revenue up 21.8% year-on-year and operating income jumping by nearly 50% year-on-year due to the ongoing top-line growth and successful cost controls. Rakuten Bank's core net business profit, which shows profit generation ability from its main bank businesses, also showed solid growth. Rakuten Bank's super loan receivables and loan customers continue to show healthy advances, both rising by over 20% year-on-year. And Rakuten Bank deposits also steadily increased, hitting 1.4 trillion yen as of the end of September. Rakuten Bank was the country winner in Japan in the Global Finance World's Best Digital Bank Awards. Rakuten Bank has received the Best Consumer Internet Bank Award for 3 years in a row since 2012. At Rakuten Securities, revenue grew by 16.6% year-on-year and operating income by 13.9% year-on-year to 5.6 billion yen, thanks to active trading in the domestic stock and foreign exchange markets. Rakuten Securities Investment Trust sales grew strongly again by 31.4% year-on-year to nearly 120 billion yen. Foreign exchange trading value also remained buoyant in the third quarter of 2015, more than doubling year-on-year, reaching a record high. Rakuten Securities stock brokerage trading value was up 10.6% year-on-year to 12.8 trillion yen and continues to remain at active levels. At Rakuten Life Insurance, the number of policies advanced 10.8% year-on-year, and annualized insurance premiums, which are correlated with revenue, grew by 21.3% year-on-year. Let's move on to our domestic internet services. Given our e-commerce strategy to move from a closed to an open platform, and with our expanding ecosystem, we are widening the definition of domestic e-commerce to include Rakuten Travel and other domestic e-commerce services, not only for Ichiba. Domestic e-commerce GMS, including Rakuten Travel, our new definition of e-commerce, grew by 12.6% year-on-year to 688 billion yen. For Rakuten Travel, we are also moving our definition of GMS away from GMS on a booking basis before cancellation to GMS on a checkout basis after cancellation, to more closely align Rakuten Travel GMS with Rakuten Travel P&L, which is also accounted for on a checkout basis. Domestic e-commerce revenue, after adjustment for Style Life but including Rakuten Travel, grew by 11.7% year-on-year to 72.5 billion yen, and operating income grew 10% year-on-year to nearly 25 billion yen. We have pursued an open strategy through initiatives such as Rakuten Super Deal, Online to Offline or O2O, and Rakuten Checkout. Rakuten Super Deal has enabled national brands to promote goods on the marketplace without necessarily having to become a Rakuten merchant. GMS was up 29% versus the second quarter as we offered a new method of purchases, including over 30% point back on purchases. Rakuten Checkout has enabled members to use their Rakuten ID to pay for their non-Rakuten online shopping at stores like Muji and Land's End. Rakuten Checkout grew by 57% year-on-year as the popularity of our payment service for third-party e-commerce sites continues to grow. Rakuten Point Card has enabled members to redeem their points earned online at offline shops and vice versa by showing the card or mobile app. GMS from our Rakuten Point Card was up 2.5 times year-on-year. Our Ichiba business successfully implemented its first major refresh of its top page in 4 years, which improved every user segment, especially for light users. We initiated a campaign to offer triple points for all orders made through a smartphone app with Rakuten Card settlement, and this helped to propel our mobile ratio of GMS to over 50% for the first time, rising 2.8 points from the previous quarter to 51.3%. Ichiba GMS through our app grew by 82.2% year-on-year. We are promoting our app because the lifetime value of app users is higher than mobile browser users. In July, we announced a collaboration with Yamato Holdings, so customers will be able to pick up orders at over 20,000 convenience stores and 4,000 Yamato sales offices. In particular, we announced a new partnership with Lawson to use its stores as pickup points, and our locker service with Japan Post continues to be well utilized. Now, e-commerce users can also choose pickup points from Rakuten Box, postal offices, convenience stores, Yamato outlets, in addition to their own homes. We also launched our new Rakuten delivery service. In an initial pilot study, products can be delivered to 4 areas of Tokyo in as little as 20 minutes, 24 hours a day. This is one of the fastest delivery services of an e-commerce company globally. The total number of merchants at Ichiba grew to 42,601 as of end September, which is a record high for Rakuten. 77% of these 42,000 merchants list over 100 products each, versus around 10 to 20% of merchants at our competitors, which list over 100 products each, showing the quality of Ichiba's merchants and GMS per merchant. World Travel System, which has a broad network and strong negotiation capabilities with airlines operating to and from Japan, became a consolidated subsidiary from an equity method affiliate of Rakuten during the third quarter and will work closely with Rakuten Travel to expand the air travel and package tour markets. Let's look at our overseas e-commerce. Our key projects for overseas e-commerce will continue to be expanding the Ebates model and developing cross-border transactions. Ichiba merchants in Japan are also expanding their sales to overseas buyers on our Rakuten Global Marketplace, with such cross-border trading up 50% year-on-year, with especially strong growth to China, the US, and Hong Kong. Ichiba total GMS sold to consumers in China grew by over 100% year-on-year in the third quarter, showing no sign of slowdown despite the softening domestic economy in China. Ebates GMS grew by 35% year-on-year in the third quarter, continuing its rapid rates of growth, with very close to $1 billion of quarterly GMS. At Rakuten Marketing, based in the US, we are continuing to expand revenue in the US, Japan, and other countries. The transition of companies which joined Rakuten Marketing, changing their brand names to Rakuten, has proceeded smoothly and strong synergies are being created. Display revenue of Rakuten Display in the US has tripled since the acquisition of MediaForge in 2012, with a CAGR growth rate of 57% year-on-year. Moving on to digital content. Rakuten Kobo registered users grew by 16.9% year-on-year to 25.6 million users. At Overdrive, the number of total checkouts in the third quarter grew by 24.1% year-on-year. From the beginning of consolidation in the second quarter, Overdrive has contributed to profit growth of the Rakuten Group and helped achieve our first quarter of EBITDA profit for the global ebook business in the third quarter. Viki watch time was up 24.5% year-on-year to over 3 billion minutes, which again shows high potential for advertising and other revenue sources. Moving on to our Others segment. Viber unique IDs hit 664 million as of the end of September and continues to expand its membership base globally. Moving on to Rakuten Mobile, which we are reorganizing. Rakuten Mobile is on a rapid growth trajectory and can capitalize on our Rakuten brand name and group synergies. Rakuten made Fusion Communications a 100% subsidiary in September and will rename it Rakuten Communications. We will transfer Rakuten Mobile, our MVNO business, to the parent company Rakuten Inc. in December, and separately manage the MVNE and MVNO businesses. Rakuten Mobile has continued to expand its offline store network, now with 5 dedicated Rakuten Mobile stores in Kobe, Sendai, Osaka, Nagoya, and Ginza, in addition to in-store Rakuten Mobile counters at Rakuten Cafe in Shibuya and Futako Tamagawa, as well as counter at electrical retailers Joshin Denki and Edion. We expanded the MVNO lineup and services during the quarter with aggressive marketing measures such as TV commercials. Monthly subscribers of Rakuten Mobile continues to accelerate faster than even our initial launch of Rakuten Card. The uptake of Rakuten Mobile has been even greater than Rakuten Card, which we believe may indicate significant potential of Rakuten to be a leader in the mobile phone industry in the future, just as Rakuten Card is also aiming to become the #1 credit card in Japan. That concludes this video presentation of Rakuten's third quarter 2015 consolidated financial results. We do appreciate your interest in Rakuten.